Worse than narcissists. How to identify Machiavellians. Machiavellian tactics in relationships. That's the title of this video. What if the most dangerous person in your life is not loud, not emotional, and not obvious at all? They don't explode like narcissists. They don't beg for attention. They don't even look toxic at first. They study you quietly. And by the time you realize it, you may already be trapped in their game. Today, in this video, you'll learn how to identify Machiavellians, people who are often more calculated and strategic than narcissists. If narcissists want attention, Machiavellians want control. And control is far more dangerous. So what is a Machiavellian? A Machiavellian is a person who uses strategy, manipulation, and emotional control to get what they want. They don't rely on emotions. They rely on thinking ahead. They often lie without guilt. They plan many steps ahead. They hide their real intentions. They use people like tools. They're not always loud or aggressive. They can be calm, polite, and even charming. That's what makes them hard to spot. So what's the difference between narcissists and Machiavellians? Narcissists want attention, praise, admiration. Machiavellians want power, control, advantage. A narcissist says, look at me. A Machiavellian thinks, how can I use this situation? Narcissists explode emotionally. Machiavellians stay calm while planning. That calmness is what makes them more dangerous in many situations. The first sign of a Machiavellian, they observe you too much. Machiavellians don't rush. They watch first. They notice what makes you happy. They notice what makes you angry. They notice what you fear, what you need. At first, this feels like interest or care. But later you realize they were collecting information, not for bonding, but for strategy. The second sign of a Machiavellian, they never reveal everything. A Machiavellian rarely tells you the full truth about themselves. They share selective stories. They avoid deep personal exposure. They keep emotional distance. Why? Because mystery gives them control. If you don't fully know them, you can't fully predict them, and unpredictability is power. The third sign of a Machiavellian, they adapt to everyone. One strange thing about Machiavellians, they act differently with different people. With one person they are funny, with another serious, with someone else very kind. It feels like they are socially perfect, but it's not authenticity, it's strategy. They mirror what works best for each person. The fourth sign of a Machiavellian is they use logic over emotion. Machiavellians often dismiss emotions when making decisions. If someone is hurt, they may say, that's not logical. If conflict happens, they focus on what benefits me. This doesn't mean they never feel emotions. It means emotions rarely control their choices. That gives them an advantage in manipulation. The fifth sign of a Machiavellian is that they create dependence. A Machiavellian may slowly make you rely on them. They might solve your problems early, offer help at the right time, become your go-to person. At first it feels supportive, but later you notice something. You start needing them more than they need you. That is not accident, that is design. The sixth sign of a Machiavellian is that they twist information. Machiavellians rarely lie in obvious ways. Instead, they change small details. They leave out key facts. They reframe events so technically that they can say, I didn't lie. But the truth you receive is incomplete. And incomplete truth can still mislead you completely. The seventh sign of a Machiavellian is that they stay calm in conflict. While others get emotional, Machiavellians often stay unusually calm. Not because they are peaceful, but because emotion can weaken strategy. Calmness keeps them in control. This can make you doubt yourself during arguments. You may feel like you are overreacting, while they seem perfectly rational. That imbalance is powerful. The danger is that why they are hard to notice. That is the most danger of dealing with a Machiavellian. They are very dangerous because it's very difficult to notice them. Machiavellians are hard to detect because they don't show obvious rage. They don't demand attention loudly. They don't act crazy in public. Instead, they blend in. They can be a coworker, a friend, a partner, even a leader. Their danger is not chaos. It is calculation. So how to protect yourself? You don't need to become paranoid, but you should stay away. You should stay away and aware. Be aware. That's the best way to protect yourself from a Machiavellian. So here is how to protect yourself. Watch actions, not just words. Notice patterns over time. Don't share too much too fast. Keep your independence. Trust consistency, not charm. The key is simple. If someone always seems to benefit more from your relationship than you do, pause and evaluate. Awareness is your best defense. So, let me give you some key behaviors linked to Machiavellian people. Number one, they study people quietly. They don't rush to talk about themselves. Instead, they watch you. They notice what you fear, what you want, what makes you emotional, what you trust. They gather information first, then they talk later. Number two, Machiavellians, they say what benefits them, not what is true. They don't always lie directly. Instead, they twist details. They leave out important facts. They say things that sound true but are incomplete. The goal is influence, not honesty. Machiavellians, they adapt their personality. They act differently depending on who they are with. To one person, they may be friendly and funny. To another, they might be serious and respectful. It can feel like they're perfect socially, but it's often calculated. Machiavellians, they stay emotionally controlled. Even in conflict, they often look calm. Not because they don't feel anything, but because showing emotion can weaken control. Calmness makes them harder to read. This can confuse others during arguments. Machiavellians, they use people as tools, sometimes without guilt. They often think in terms of usefulness. Who can help me? What do I gain from this? Relationships may feel more like strategy than connection. They build dependence slowly. They build that dependence slowly. They may help you at the right moment so that you start relying on them. Over time, you go to them for advice. You trust their judgment. You feel unsure without them. This increases their influence over you. They also avoid revealing their full intentions. They rarely show their full plan. They may keep secrets. They may hide their real goals. They may share only partial truth about themselves. Mystery helps them stay in control. Machiavellians are very patient. They don't always act fast. Instead, they wait for the right moment. They plan several steps ahead. They act when the advantage is highest. They think long term, not emotionally. Machiavellians, they can be charming when needed. They are often good at small talk, compliments, making people feel important. But charm is usually a tool, not always genuine emotion. Machiavellians avoid clear blame. If something goes wrong, they rarely accept full responsibility. They may shift blame, reframe the story, make it hard to pin things on them. They protect their image carefully. So, what is the important warning about Machiavellians? And this is very important. Not everyone who observes people, stays calm, thinks logically is Machiavellian. Let me repeat again. Not everyone who observes people, who stays calm, who thinks logically is Machiavellian. These traits only become concerning when there is a pattern of manipulation, lack of empathy, and consistent self-serving behavior at others' expense. So, let me give you Machiavellian tactics in relationships. Number one is love bombing at the start. At the beginning, they may give you intense attention, constant texting, fast emotional bonding, big compliments like you're perfect, moving the relationship too fast. It feels amazing, but it can be used to quickly gain emotional control and trust. Number two, Machiavellian tactic used in relationships is fast emotional bonding or trauma sharing. They may share personal struggles early on. This makes you feel close to them, responsible for them, emotionally connected too quickly. Later, this bond can be used to keep you attached. Another Machiavellian tactic in relationships is selective kindness. They are not always nice or bad. Instead, very kind when they want something and they are very cold or distant when they don't. This inconsistency can make you try harder to earn their good side. Another Machiavellian tactic in relationships is the silent testing of boundaries. They may slowly push limits, cancel plans last minute, say small disrespectful comments, ignore your feelings in small ways. If you don't react, they may increase it over time. Another Machiavellian tactic used in relationship is guilt-based influence. They may make you feel guilty instead of asking directly. For example, they'll say, I guess I'll just do everything alone then. I thought you cared about me. Now, this pressure can make you give in even when you don't want to. Again, Machiavellian tactics in relationships, there's the emotional confusion, which is hot and cold behavior. They switch between affection and attention. distance, and withdrawal. This creates uncertainty, making you focus more on them and try to fix the relationship. The Machiavellian tactic in relationship, another one, is the control through information. They pay attention to what you share, your fears, your insecurities, your emotional triggers. Later, this information may be used to influence your decisions or reactions. Again, they rewrite past events. They may change the story of what happened. That's not what I said. You misunderstood. You are remembering it wrong way. Over time, this can make you doubt your own memory. They also play the victim. Even when they cause conflict, they may act hurt instead of responsible. They shift focus to their feelings. They make you feel like the bad one. And this can stop you from holding them accountable. Again, Machiavellian tactic in relationship is isolating influence. They may not directly tell you to leave people. Instead, they criticize your friends or family. They create conflict around your support system. They make themselves your main emotional anchor. This increases their control over your environment. An important truth is that these behaviors are not always planned evil. Sometimes they come from insecurity, immaturity, or learned habits. But when these patterns are repeated, one-sided, and make you feel controlled or confused, that's when it becomes unhealthy. So the simple rule to protect yourself: healthy relationships feel clear, consistent, and respectful. Unhealthy strategic manipulation often feels confusing, unstable, and emotionally draining. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned a thing or two. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've not done so. Thank you.